Hey folks, good morning. Well, good morning for me. Not sure when you guys will see this. Man, these GoPros die quick. Anyway, she's a crisp morning here in Nova Scotia. It's 10 degrees Saturday morning. There's the 95 loaded on the gooseneck. Gotta love being able to press a button and unload the trailer with that much weight on the back of it. But we've got some work. It's Saturday morning, Labor Day weekend. Labor Day weekend means that you work all weekend, right? I think the last 4 years I've worked all Labor Day weekend, as far as I can remember. Anyway, we got a big job to do and we got a little machine. So, and we got about a 2-hour drive, hour and 45 minutes to get there or more. So when we get there, I'll have a battery charged. I'll show you what's going on. And tell you how much I wish I had the 080 instead of the 040. Alright guys, so we're pulling in to the job site. Very long hill. John has one day on this site, so you can see he's got a good start on it. See how far he made it on the first day. So once we get the mulching done on this job, I'm going to bring in the 95, and this whole road needs to be graded. It needs a good layer of type 2 on it. It's basically washed out and rutted from top to bottom. So you can see he did the left hand side. He's got reaching out across the ditch, doing a really good job. Power line needs a little bit of trimming on it. And then this right side, you can see these trees are canopying in big time. Up towards the top, it is it's quite grown in towards the top. But yeah, this road is not in very good condition, brush wise, and just the road is washed out. I mean, there's some pretty deep freaking ruts in this road. I don't think you'd get up here with a trailer, that's for sure. So we have the 040 on this job site, and it's doing the job. You can see it's doing a great job, but the 080 would be the much better option for this, especially with the road repair to do afterwards. The road repair would just take so long with that little tiny machine. And this is where he stopped at. It's right here. The 040 would just take so long to do the road repair with. So it just makes sense if you had another big machine with a mulching head on it. So I am seriously looking at getting a mulcher put on the 95. So stay tuned for that. But you can see it's grown in. There is a couple spots where the brush does hit the truck, guys. So for the guys that are gonna say, oh my god, you're taking that truck up that road, you see some of these ruts. Oh my god, you're taking that beautiful truck up those roads. I go as slow as I possibly can, and I do what I can, but in the end, this is a work truck, and it just kind of is what it is. And the road is like 1.5 kilometers long, so I'm not walking up a hill 1.5 kilometers long. I'll take my time, I'll pick through the really bad spots. But I got the gear parked up. John's got the gear parked up at the top of the hill. I gotta grease up the head, grease up the machine, and then we'll start working my way down. Yeah, she's grown in. She's really grown in. Here's a tight spot. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. That is one beauty of white vehicles, and that's a big reason why I bought my 2020 in white. Hide scratches, but I just wanted to try this color. Maybe I should have got white, but everybody's got white. Alright guys, so we got her fired up. I'm just checking all the teeth, make sure none of the teeth are loose. If any are loose, I give them a snug. Make sure the drum is spinning nice and free, which it is. This is only the second set of teeth I've had on this rig, and it's the first side. So this machine's getting good life out of the teeth. They're not ready to flip around yet. A couple of them could use the mini grinder to hit them a little bit, but I got to grease up grease up the thing, each side obviously. This one here basically tells you right on there what you're supposed to do, but I always give this one a couple shots here before every start of every day. And then the other side, you're just hitting the bearing on the other side right here. The diverter valve in this, like, because this is only it only has the one auxiliary controller, which is the right joystick, so I don't have the option to flick it over and move my thumb up like I do on my 080. So this creeps down after time, so I gotta loosen off the diverter valve up there, spin it around so that it goes back to the thumb, go in the cab, snap the thumb up, and then you're good to go. So we typically carry a wrench inside the machine with us, but I don't know where. I think John might have possibly lost it in the field the other day when he was loading up the machine. But that's about it. So I'm gonna give this thing some grease, flip that valve around, and start working my way down the hill. We got some growth. She's pretty thick through here. Like I said, this machine will do the job. This is a bigger job than what I would typically like to put this machine on. I try to keep this machine for smaller jobs. This isn't so much big growth, but it's just a lot. And I'd have to haul this machine out, bring another machine in to do the road repair. It's just convenient if you have the big machine with the head and the ability to take the head off, put the bucket on, and do what you got to do. But this will definitely do the trick, and you can haul it behind a single wheel pickup, and you're not over your 26,000 pounds, so you're not into the CDL spectrum. Myself and one of my other operators, Dave, we both have our proper license to haul the big loads, but John has his condition 15, which allows him to haul the trailer over the 4,500 kgs, but he doesn't have his CDL class 3, class 1, whatever you want to call it here in Nova Scotia, to haul the big loads. So he can't haul the big machines, but he can haul this one. So anyway, let's get it greased up. All right, machine is working great. Machine is working great. We got about 2 hours runtime in, and we've got quite a bit done. Quite a bit done. The 8-ton would certainly be quicker, but with this smaller stuff, not a lot quicker, but there is a few bigger ones mixed in, but that machine will take a bit longer time than what the 8-ton would. But all in all, it's doing its thing. Obviously the 8-ton is a much more roomy cab. It's not as tippy. That machine handles that head quite well, but it is still a little bit tippy compared to the 8-ton. So if you're sitting in the machine for, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, the extra room and the less tippy machine is much more comfortable. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, 2 hours run, we're getting quite a bit done here. Quite a bit done. Here it is on a Saturday. You think if I didn't have that machine, or I didn't have any machines, if you're doing this all by hand, good luck finding 2 or 3 people to come out here with bush saws and a chipper on a Saturday and do some work, especially Labor Day weekend. But the machines just make life so easy. Yes, they're expensive, but man, if you're in this industry or you got work, just buy a machine. You certainly won't regret it. But yeah, we started up past the truck. I did all behind the truck there, just small stuff. And then we came down to, I just walked there, and I don't know, I wouldn't even say it's 2 hours runtime, probably more like an hour and a half total runtime. So it works pretty good. I'll come back up and get this side here, but I think I have my shoulder mount with me, so I'm gonna see if I can throw that thing on and get you guys in the cab with me. All right guys, so here we go. I don't know what you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see something decent anyway. I got my shoulder mount on. I only use it once, I think, but I have this excavator geared up that it's always on. I don't need to touch anything, it's just on. What that does though, it does slow down your tracking, but you don't need to be tracking fast anyway. But here we go. So you can see it works really good on the small stuff especially. Now this is not brand new teeth as I showed you. These teeth probably have, guess, you know, about 100 hours on that side, and they're still doing the job quite well. We did a big orchard cleanup with this machine. It was like 2 weeks of work. Guy bought an orchard and it was completely overgrown in between the apple trees. So that was a big job for us. I'm gonna try to get as much of this high stuff here as I can. You can see it still lifts it up. It's still running the head. There's enough flow. I know a lot of people didn't think that this machine would work with this head, or this head would work with this machine. And I even had some people comment or like ask me questions on Instagram, emails, and say that their dealer basically told them that that machine won't run this head and they wouldn't sell it to them. Well, looks like it's doing pretty good to me. And trust me, if it wasn't, I would tell you. I wouldn't want you to make the same mistake that I made, but I'm very happy with it. I really wanted to get the BL or BXL or whatever the heck it's called. It was the new one that they just came out with for like these style machines. It's got the bite limiter on it, and it's got the, I'll call it the grapple, like the rake sort of thing on it as well. But that wasn't available. I got this in, I think, June of last year, and I would have been looking at August or September before I was able to get that head. And I mean, that's a lot of, you know, that's 2 months of work that I would have lost without being able to use this thing with the mulching head on it. I actually did quite a bit of work with this machine last year with this head. This machine has definitely panned out for me. I bought it, you know, I had some work lined up for it. I didn't have an absolute massive amount of work lined up for it, but as you know, my 080 is gone basically all year. That's my road machine. So a lot of times I don't see that excavator for, it could be 2 to 3 months at a time, depending on if I have to jump in and run it, or if the one operator is able to keep up, or if I have 2 operators swapping each other out. It could realistically be 2 to 3 months in between me seeing that excavator. So I just wanted to have one to have around here in case things did pop up. In the past, I would be, you know, trucking machines around, or trucking that machine around. If my operator was taking 2 or 3 days off, instead of leaving it on site, I'd say, hey, bring it home, because I got this I can do, I got that I can do, I got a job lined up here that I could do, you know, whatever. So I decided to buy this machine, and it worked out really well. At the time, I had my single rear wheel, my 2020, the white one. So I had that truck. I didn't have my 450. So if I had the 450 now, would I buy the same machine? It's honestly hard to say. It's 50-50 in my mind. And the reasons that I would buy this machine again, it works great. It handles its head well. It's got loads of power for the size of it. And with my setup, I'm able to keep this below 26,000 pounds with a single rear wheel truck, you know, like 11,500 pounds GBWR, single rear wheel. My trailer is rated for just over 15. It's like 15.2 or 15.3, but I registered at 15, and I registered my truck at just under 11, so that I'm below the 26,000 pounds. Obviously, when I haul with my 450, with the way I have this rated, I'm overweight as far as my registration weight goes. But when I have my single rear wheel, obviously I wasn't. So I didn't need to worry about IFTA. I didn't need to worry about if I did hire somebody like John. Like I said, John doesn't have his commercial driver's license. He has his trailer license, a tag license that allows him to haul this trailer around. And yeah, IFTA's a big thing. So what IFTA does, if you guys don't know, is basically you can go into any province or any state with that IFTA license, and you have to do a quarterly report. If you don't have that and you're over 26,000 pounds registered weight, you're commercial, not personal. Because personal, you can basically do whatever you want. But if you're commercial, then you have to get like permits to go in. So if I wanted to go into New Brunswick with my 450 the way it is now, because I don't have that set up IFTA, technically I have to call. There's like these firms that they sell you these transportation or whatever they're called passes, and basically it goes by your mileage. So from the second that I cross the border to get into New Brunswick, they ask, how far are you going? So if I say I'm going to Fredericton, then they charge you an amount based on the distance from the border to Fredericton. And trust me, it gets very expensive. Very expensive. So I'm actually leaning towards getting my 450 set up with IFTA as well. I already have my license in the system with my 550, so it'd be pretty easy. But it's another vehicle. I got to do quarterly reports, which involves keeping all your fuel receipts from different provinces you're in, tracking your mileage, and it's like a form you fill out every 3 months and hand in, and you pay, or if somehow you're lucky, they actually owe you. Anyway, it is what it is. It's all kind of stupid in my mind that commercial people have to do all this stuff, but if you're hauling a camper around, you can basically do whatever you want, weight-wise and like restriction-wise. You don't really have to do anything. You can just get away with whatever. Alright guys, here's a pretty good spot right here. It's growing in pretty tight. It's all nice small alders though. So we'll see, you know, how much better this looks here at the end. Again, you can see it's growing in pretty good. It's like a four-wheeler path there right now. So I am going downhill. I don't have my blade down, if you guys can see that. I'm reaching out in front of me, and the machine is not tipping over. When I got this set up, I really was, you know, quite concerned, quite worried that it would be quite tippy, and I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised at how stable it actually is. this, you can really keep your roadway clean. So you can see I have my gate closed on the side that's facing the road, and I'm going away from the road towards the discharge side, towards the chain side, and that keeps most of the mulch and the brush and the clippings away from the road. Because when you're sort of raking it, I guess I'll call it, or you're sweeping it side to side, that's where your little clump will build up, is on whatever side you finish off on, which typically is your discharge side, which it should be. So if I was to go this way over here, if I was to come this way, that means I'm bringing all the stuff out into the road. You see, just that one little section there, the one little section put all the leaves and stuff in the road. You catch on to that little stuff very quickly. You catch on to what you can and can't handle with the head, with the machine. You can listen to the drum. You can hear it when it's really cranking up and when it's getting bogged down and you need to lift it off of what you're doing, and then let her spool up and go back at it. So big trees like this, where they're so far away from the road, I mean, we're not going to be cutting, you know, 20 feet away from the road. So I just turn the mulcher basically on its side and just knock those limbs off as far back as I can, and then clean them up. And that's going to last quite a long time before they grow back by just doing that. I'll be back here doing the small stuff in the road before I be doing these big limbs that are hanging off of the trees out to the road. Take a couple of these bigger ones down. Power line's right there anyway. They're getting close. There, I just topped 3 of them at one time. So that there, that's about a 4-inch maple tree at the butt. Gone. Clump of 2 here, sort of. Obviously softwood is quicker, especially pine. Pine and popple will be my favorite, that's for sure. Wait for the head. That one's small enough you can pretty much just go from top to bottom. Wait for the head to spool up. sort of a bit bigger stuff. You know, could you go out there and cut that by hand or with a bush saw or, you know, whatever, and feed it through a chipper and do it quicker? If you were already set up and using that, you know what, you could. But guess what? I'm one guy here sitting in an excavator versus paying 2 or 3 guys to do it by hand. That one there I'll push out of the road. But anyway guys, I'm not going to record much else. It's just the same thing over and over again, but I'll work here for a few more hours and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Hey guys, well before I stop, I just found this like 6-inch fir tree. So I already topped it, so let's see how it handles this. I'd say that's pretty good. So at the start, the tree's just not strong enough, so you can't just slam right down on it. You gotta kind of be careful. But you can see at the bottom where the tree's sturdier, the head will just grind it right up. You can just go as fast as you want. All right, well I'm heading on under here for the day. It's about 3 o'clock. You can see the gate back there. So I started probably 30 feet before the gate. On my right hand side here, I've got done. Obviously the left hand side is not done, but at least now I can stick off to one side or the other, well the one side, and I don't have to run into any bushes with the truck. But I think I'd say, I didn't look at the hours, but I'm probably looking at about 3.5 hours, 3.5 operating hours for the machine. So not a huge amount of time actually on the machine, and it did a lot. So it did really well. So I think I'm getting pretty close to where John had left off. He worked his way up, I'm working my way down. I think I'm pretty close to where he left off. If the road isn't grown in too bad, or if I had the 550 and I don't really care about scratching the truck as much, what I like to do is to work my way out. And the reason for that is because it's not till the very end before people would even know you're in there. So if people are driving by and you start from the bottom and you see all this, you see the machine or you see the brush being done, nosy people would be like, oh, what's going on in there? And they go up and see the excavator sitting there. They could tamper with it, they could tamper with the trailer, whatever. So peace of mind, I like working my way out if possible. Yeah, this road is washed out bad. So you can see I left off back there, and I think right around this turn somewhere is where John left off. She's a little tight through here, little cow path. Yeah, right down there at the bottom, that's where John left off. So not too bad, not too much further to go to have one side of the road done, and you can start working the way in. Nice view from up here. Ugh. Yeah, this road needs some TLC, that's for sure. Alright guys, so here it is the next day, closing the video out. You know, the 4-ton did the job, there's no doubt about it. The 4-ton does honestly better than I ever thought it would. But it's not the right tool for that situation, because I will have to haul another machine in to do the road repair, because it would just take way too long to do it with the 4-ton. and we've got quite a workload building up on us right now to get done before the end of the season. So I think it is time to throw a mulcher on the 95. Will it be an FAE? Will it be a Torrent? Who knows? Who knows? But stay tuned, because you guys are going to find out. But anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Hope this helps, you know, make some decisions on your buying purchases, because that's pretty much what my whole channel is about, to be honest. But that's it. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then. Bye.